Did the title really point us to the heart of the story, or was it just another stamp? And honestly, while the performances were on an A level, I mean solid in delivery, sometimes even funny in the smallest ways, like when excellence was pronounced as excellent, which made me giggle. For me, the message of the film stood out. It was timely, relatable, and the narrative itself carried weight. But I'm Creative XGL, a visual storyteller, video editor, and scriptwriter. And this week, I am sharing my thoughts on the Nigerian comedy drama, The Waiter, a movie that dives deep into the struggles of everyday Nigerians dealing with economic hardships and a government that constantly falls short of its responsibility. Before I talk about the scenes that didn't really sit well with me or left me confused, let me say this. The opening scene really drew me in. The soldiers in action, gunshots in the air, and the chaos that sufficed. This scene did not only set the base and foundation of the movie, but smoothly ties into the flashback of Tony the terrorist, giving us an important backstory. That weaving of the flashback into the present was a strong narrative choice, and I have to commend it. But not every scene carried that same weight. Take, for instance, the moment Akos gets on the wrong vehicle. Suddenly, he is fighting supposed thieves or kidnappers. The vehicle crashes, it catches fire, and then he simply walks away. For me, that entire sequence felt forced, and here's why. The setting itself did not support the idea. They weren't on some lonely road. We could clearly see other cars around. The passengers didn't give off any vibe of being kidnappers or thieves. There was no real build up, just a question that sparked a fight. And to be honest, even the men meant to play kidnappers didn't embody the heroes convincingly. So the whole fire and walk away moment, while dramatic, didn't actually add much. Maybe it was meant to set a base for action or to show us who Akbos was, but in truth, the flashback, which was the first scene, already achieved that. Personally, I think his personality could have been introduced in a more natural way. Here's how I'll do it. Instead of the car fight, Akbos meets Chenkes, his supposed boss, in a hostile way outside the hotel. Maybe her driver splashes water on him, escalating into a fight that reveals Akbos' fiery and stubborn personality. Then later, when we meet him again in the hotel, the tension would click. Regina, remembering him, would want him fired as a way to take revenge on him. That way, his line, "Who you be safe," added to "You know fit fire me," would have landed with even more force. The second scene that didn't connect for me was Akpo's meeting Chenkes Regina. Everything in that environment screamed she was the highest authority in that room. The way she sat, the way the waiters and waitresses looked at her, the whole energy. Nothing about it said cousin, and that made it hard to buy into. So again, if that first clash I described had happened, it would have tied into this scene perfectly because the energy would have already been set and the audience would feel the weight of their dynamic. If I were reimagining the restaurant sequence after that, I wouldn't change the cinematography or the arrangement too much. I'll just let that tension carry through. Akbar standing his ground, his voice rising as he insists he can be fired, even pulling in the emotional card of his sick mother, while Regina, calm but firm, continues with her meal, realizing Akpos doesn't want to back down, requests the bill to be sent to a specific room number, just as it was in the movie before working out. That would have been enough to hold the scene without making it feel forced or unnatural. Now, there are still some scenes I feel didn't really work, but I won't go into those here because I don't want this video to drag too long. There are three more scenes I want to unpack and some hidden symbolism I only realized after watching the movie, and one other major point that will leave you in awe. But you will get all of these in part 2. Watch out and subscribe and engage if you haven't. And if you have watched the movie, give your commentary, and if you haven't, go watch it and give your thoughts too.